Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and this is my channel, So Sarah Sewed. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my wintry sewing and knitting plans for June. If you're new to my channel, I am a music teacher living in Melbourne, Australia, and in my free time, I love to sew and knit. So my videos are generally talking about my plans and then sharing what I've been working on. As I mentioned in the introduction, today I'll be talking about the things I'm planning to make in the month of June. The weather has cooled down quite a bit here recently. Winter has just begun and we're definitely feeling it, especially in the mornings. And in May, I made a video each week talking through my outfits that I was wearing each day for Me Made May and trying to find the gaps in my wardrobe and the sorts of things I wish I had that I didn't. So I'm trying to focus my makes on things that I've really noticed that I'd like more of or that is lacking in my wardrobe, while also focusing on using my stash. I've tried to look through my stash and see what I already had, and I'm beginning with that. So I'm filming this on the 9th of June and I have already made a start on one project. In fact, I've nearly finished it. So it's Sunday today and I started this one yesterday. I cut it out a little while ago. It seems to be a bit of a theme for me. I'll cut something out and then take a little while to actually get started sewing it. But yesterday I started sewing up a Tiama skirt by Caledonia Dreamin'. Now this is a pattern I've made before. I made it in May and I really liked wearing it and I thought I could do with another one. One of the great things about this pattern for me is that it really doesn't take a lot of fabric. So for my size, which is a size 40, I need 70 centimeters of the main fabric and even less than that for the lining fabric. So it's quite an economical kind of make. It's a short skirt. The pattern, you can also make it as a pinafore, but I've made it in the short skirt version in May and I've made it again in June in the short skirt version. The fabric that I've used this time was a dead stock that I got from Maai Design. It's a wool blend. I think it's just wool and nylon. There might be something else in there. I can't remember. But it's in this beautiful blue and pink and grey tartan fabric. So I'll show you. So I've nearly finished sewing this one up. The only thing I'll have left to do is hand sewing the lining to the zip at the back. And then trimming some threads and it's ready to wear. So I think I'll get a lot of wear out of that one to work. I think I mentioned it in one of my Me Made May videos, but that pattern actually came up a little bit large on me. I made a toile first in the size that aligned with my measurements and found it was too big. So perhaps if you're making the pinafore version, you wouldn't mind that little bit of extra room around the waist, but for me, I wanted a really nice snug fit. So I sized down 1. So according to the measurements, this should have ended up too small for me, but it really fits nicely. And I'll be making this one more time this month. The jumper I'm wearing today is the No Frills sweater by Petite Knit. And I've made it in a beautiful soft merino from white gum wool, fingering weight, and then held with a silk mohair that I got from Wool and Works. And that one is in the color Neon Lights. It's not showing up so well at the moment. It's dark outside, so the lighting's not great, but in the natural light, some of these colors just look so beautiful and popping with that neon color. But I was talking in my Me Made May videos about not really having a whole lot of items I feel like I can wear this one with. So finding something else has been a priority for me. Now I was just looking through my stash and I found an offcut of some navy blue corduroy fabric that I used to make an Aura pinafore last year. When I bought that fabric, I bought enough to make the Aura pinafore in my size, but then I decided to shorten it quite a bit. I actually took off 6 inches off that pattern, so I do have quite a big offcut. I've actually got 3 offcuts. One of them's bigger than the others, but I'm hoping that between the 3, I'll be able to cut out this skirt pattern one more time. I feel like a navy blue would be really, really handy. I'd be able to wear it to work, but I'd also be able to wear it more casually. I feel like a navy blue, it's just a plain navy blue short skirt would be really nice to wear on the weekends, just with boots and tights. And I think it would go really nicely with this jumper. And I feel like that will really help me get a lot more wear out of it. So I think that's the first thing I'm going to work on. I've already got lining for it as well. Just a rayon from Spotlight that I happen to have. The only thing I'll still need is a zip, so I'll pick that up soon. And yeah, I'm ready to get going on that skirt. The next thing I'd like to get made up is a pair of pajama pants. Now I actually bought the fabric for this probably a year ago. This is also from Spotlight. I think they had a good reduction on flannelette fabrics. And so I bought, I'm not even sure how much I bought, but definitely enough to make a pair of pajama pants. But I've just not made them yet. This is the fabric I chose. Sweet little dogs wearing accessories like scarves and hats and boots. Yeah, on this soft pink flannelette. I think it's 100% cotton, this one, so there's no stretch or anything in it. And then I also have some pink ribbing. So I would like to make some pajama pants that have ribbed cuffs, but I'm not sure of a pattern. So I had a look through my Make It Simple book by Tilly and the Buttons, but the pajama patterns in there are designed for a jersey fabric, a stretch fabric. So this won't work. But if you've got any ideas of a pattern that could work, just a really simple straight leg pant with a cuff, that would be great. I don't need any fancy features at all. I might put an inseam pocket or two in. I might put a patch pocket on, but nothing, it really doesn't need to be fancy. Just a nice pair of, yeah, comfortable, cozy pajama pants I think will be lovely. My next plan is one that I've been thinking about for a little while, and I think what's putting me off is I'm a little bit scared of the fabric. It's an Eco Viscose Lawn, I think it's called, from Lady McElroy, that I bought from Maai Design. I think it's quite a well-known design. It's the Cobra Corsage, and I got it on the black background. So that was a bit of a splurge, this fabric. It's not cheap, Lady McElroy, but the quality is beautiful. So what I would like to make with this one is the Patina Blouse by Friday Pattern Company. I've made a patina blouse before. This pattern comes in a couple of different views. So you can just have short sleeves or you can have long billowy sleeves. It's got a low neckline. There are two different depths of the neckline available. I just go with the regular one. I find that's low enough for my preferences. And for this one, I'd like to make the sleeved version. So my first patina blouse, I made the short sleeve and I made it in a lightweight linen cotton, I think, or a lightweight linen in a very bright, breezy, beautiful for summer pattern. But this time I thought I'd make kind of a wintry version. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But as I said, I do find this kind of fabric kind of tricky to work with. So I think that's been what's put me off, because I did actually buy this a few months ago. I sort of treated myself to this fabric for my birthday treat, and my birthday was in April. So I've had it for a little while, but I think this will be really, really fun, and I'm looking forward to making it. I think this will go really nicely with the first Tiama skirt that I made, which I made in a rust color. And then, yeah, I think it'll be fun to find more ways to wear this blouse as well. I thought I might include a long forgotten work in progress in this video in the hopes that maybe that will encourage me to actually sew it up. And that is the Fennel Fanny Pack by Sarah Kirsten. I cut this one out at the end of 2020, I'm pretty sure. It's been cut out for years and sitting in this little pouch, and I just haven't started it. I don't know why. I think I've got all the bits and pieces in here. Before I started sewing clothes, I used to love making quilts. It was really all I did. I didn't sew, I didn't use the sewing machine, I didn't knit, and I would hand piece quilts, and sometimes I would buy fat quarter sets. But then, you know, being a hand piecer, it was pretty slow to get through them. So I do have quite a few fat quarters still in my collection, and I decided to use one of them for this Fennel Fanny Pack that I absolutely love, and yeah, I really would love to use it. So it's a Rifle Paper Company one, and I think it's from their Menagerie range. So I've got all of those cut out. I've got all the lining cut out as well. I used two different fabrics for the lining just because I didn't have enough of either, because I'm just using scraps of things for that. I can't see any interfacing cut out yet, so I think that's the only thing I need to do. I've got my zips and I've got my webbing and my buckles, so maybe including it in this video will mean that I actually sew it up. This one I've heard can be quite fiddly doing the binding on the inside, but I know that there are a couple of sew along videos on YouTube that people have found very helpful. So I'm going to be checking those out, and let's see if I include this in my makes for June. I know that Sian from The Obsessive Maker had her Fennel fanny pack cut out for a similar time to me, and she's done hers. She is my inspiration in trying to get mine done this month as well. She finished hers a couple of months ago. I feel like this would be a really handy thing to have on a walk, to be able to put my phone and keys in there, and just be hands-free would be lovely. I'm going to talk about a couple of knitting plans now, and then I'm going to talk very briefly about a collaboration I've got going in June as well. So I've got 2 knitting projects that I'm hoping to be working on in June. One of them I have already started, and the other one I'm hoping to start soon. I'll start with the pattern I haven't yet cast on. So this pattern is on my Make 9 this year, and the reason that it's there is because last year I was the lucky winner of a set of yarn. I entered an Instagram competition and I won it. It was a competition run by Liz from Yarns by the Bay, and she was giving away a set of 5 silk mohair skeins of wool, a quantity that would allow you to make the Instant Crush sweater by Joji Locatelli. So I think when this competition was run, this was a new pattern, and Liz was inspired to make some sets to be able to promote the pattern with. So I was very lucky to win the competition. I got to choose the colorway that I wanted, so I'll show you the colors. I caked these up last weekend, and I actually made a start at casting on the pattern, and I did a few hours of knitting before I realized that when I joined in the round I had a twist. So I decided to start again. Because the pattern is worked with 2 strands of mohair, it was too hard to try and salvage the yarn. So you've got this beautiful color, I think that was called Toffee. And then the other colors I needed to separate into 2 balls each. So this one, I think that was Lilac, Silver Fox, and Neutral. So I'll put in a photo of the sweater that this will be made into. I have to admit I'm a little bit intimidated by this pattern. It looks daunting to me. The description says it's made almost entirely using stranded colorwork technique or Fair Isle. Something I've never done before. So it's interesting. When I start a sewing pattern, I find it really helpful to read through the entire pattern before I begin and start to try and get an understanding of all the steps. But for knitting, I find that overwhelms me, and I start to think, I can't do it, I don't understand. And I find that it's better for me to just go step by step, because then usually the step will make sense. I can see what's in front of me, and then I can just do the next step. If I try and look too far ahead, I can't imagine how these things actually work. So I'm planning to cast this one. I'm planning to recast this one on soon and just see how I go. And then I've got people I can reach out to if I don't understand something. And I think it will take me a little while though. Working just in mohair takes quite a long time. This one is knit up on mainly 4mm needles, so not too thin actually. But yes, that is my big next knitting project. I bought this pattern when I saw on Instagram that the designer, Joji Locatelli, was having a birthday sale. And I thought, well, while I'm getting one pattern at a discount, I'll buy another one as well. So I bought a pattern for a beanie that was really appealing to me. I thought if I started working on another one of her patterns first, I'd get a feel for her style and the way she writes patterns. So I've been working on this beanie for the last couple of weeks, and it uses fingering weight yarn, and I had enough in my stash of scraps that I'm able to make this beanie. So that feels really nice too, to be using just some scrap yarn. The yarn I'm using is leftover yarn from a So Faded sweater that I made. You can see in the picture that she's used quite contrasting yarns for hers, in the rim and then in the body of the beanie, and then combine them into a little pom-pom on top. I think it's really, really cute. So the rim is just 1x1 rib, and then there's a lace pattern for the crown, and then that optional pom-pom on top, which I'm definitely going to do. My colours aren't quite as contrasting, but I think they'll make a really nice little match for this beanie. So I've been working with this one, which is why it's getting smaller, and then I've got this one for the crown, and I'll show you where I'm at. So this beanie actually is folded over twice at the bottom, so it's quite a lot of ribbing before you work on that other colour. But it's one of those knits that's just a mindless, I can do it anywhere, one by one rib, no concentrating for now. And I feel like I've still got I've probably got 3 or 4 centimeters to go still until I'm up to the next section. But I think that will be really cozy and pretty cute. And I'm looking forward to getting that one knitted up. So I also mentioned a collaboration I'll be working on in June, and that one has just launched recently, and that is the Standing Tall Quilt Along, hosted by myself and Teresa at Lost My Thread. Now, the very first video was posted on Teresa's channel, so I'll put a link to it. In a nutshell, we are both making the Standing Tall quilt by Cedar Quilt Company, and this is run by Helen, the same Helen from Helen's Closet, and it's a free pattern. So if you've been thinking about making a quilt this year or having a go at your very first quilt, this could be a really great project for you. So I encourage you to have a look at that video. The quilt along starts on the 22nd of June, but with just choosing our fabrics, and then we're cutting the following week. So I'm actually not going to be starting sewing for a little while. I don't have my background fabrics yet, but I'm looking forward to getting started on that as soon as they arrive. So that's my other project for June, and then into July and August as well. I'm pretty sure that Instant Crush sweater will also take me through July and August too. I'm not a very fast knitter, but that's one of the reasons I took it up. I really enjoy that slowing down and just enjoying the hobby of the actual knitting. I'm excited to be trying a new technique. It was actually quite fortuitous that I won that pattern because it is encouraging me to step outside of my comfort zone of where I'm at the moment and try something new. I've definitely got enough to go on with for June. I've got some more fabric coming this week. It is from Nerida Hansen. It is my order from January, so I'm really looking forward to that. What was it? Oh, that's right. It's a Miss Moresby checked fabric. My order from last November is still nowhere to be seen. Hopefully I'll hear about that soon. But that's a very summery fabric, so I'm not going to be sewing with it for a while anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing about my upcoming wintry sewing and knitting plans. Please do let me know if you've got a pajama pants suggestion. Head over and watch that video on Teresa's channel if you haven't already, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.